All right. Come on. Come on. Come on. Uh, uh. Why do women have failure to progress during labor? Is it because the baby gets stuck, like little Elvis here, and has to be yanked out? What's going on? The truth is, just like Elvis, your baby is not stuck. And failure to progress is not as big of a deal as it seems like it is. Here's the real deal. Most of the time, women are rushed into labor and birth. There's usually nothing wrong with your baby, there's nothing wrong with your uterus, and there's nothing wrong with your pelvis. It's plenty big enough to get an average-sized baby out of it, and it's probably plenty big enough to get a pretty big baby out of it. That's my pretty big baby, and I'm only 5'4". So what's the real deal? Why are women really and truly having trouble? Why do we see failure to progress? One of the biggest reasons we see failure to progress is because women are not actually ready to be in labor, and neither are their babies. Many women are induced. I am shocked to see in my Facebook group every day the amount of pressure that women are getting. And unfortunately, I'm seeing it not just from women who have an OB, but also women who have a midwife. More and more women are getting to 40 weeks, even 39 weeks, and the pressure is on. And that is really frustrating and stressful for women. When I think back to my first baby, she came 10 days late. And my midwife was pretty laid back, but even I could feel the pressure. And then when I think about my 8th baby, that chunk right there, he was 7 days late. And when I think about it, I'm so grateful that I had midwives who were willing to wait. And by the time he was born, I had learned a lot of wisdom. Even though it felt like labor kept starting, I definitely had a night where I texted my midwife and told her I was sure it was the night. I went to bed and I woke up in the morning and there was definitely no baby. What would have happened if I had said, okay, well, I think that this is it, but something's wrong and it's stopping and it's just not right? Well, the truth is he wasn't ready yet. And when labor finally did start, 7 days past his due date, he came very quickly, even though he was a big baby. And Cassidy, my first baby, came relatively quickly for a first baby too, when it was time for her to come 10 days late. A lot of moms are induced before they're really ready. And so their babies don't come down right. Things just don't happen in the right way. And that is why labor stalls and fails to progress. It's because it wasn't even supposed to be happening yet. Another thing that happens is a lot of women's labor pattern gets interrupted. Think about a train. So you have a train going down the track, and when it first gets started, it's going down the track kind of slowly, and the conductor can stop the train more easily. But when that train is zooming down the track, it's very difficult to stop it. Birth is similar. You've heard me talk before about the hormones of birth. So what happens is those hormones get going, and once they get going, it can be really hard to stop. But early on, that balance can be interrupted pretty quickly, primarily by the hormone adrenaline, which slows things down at the beginning and speeds things up at the end. So when a woman gets worried or scared or stressed, such as when she's making the transfer to the hospital, or when labor has just started and everybody's telling her that she's not dilating fast enough, then adrenaline takes over, and the decision that her body makes then is it's safer to stop labor so she can get away from what's scaring her, because her body doesn't realize that there's not a tiger waiting to eat her. At the end of labor, however, the body says, we better get this baby out so that she can grab the baby and run. So adrenaline has the opposite effect when labor is well established and you're at the end of labor. It speeds things up so that your baby comes more quickly. So when we look at how do we keep labor going, one of the most important things, the most important thing is, if at all possible, let labor start on its own naturally, because that is when the baby is supposed to come. The second thing that you should do is to make sure that you guard those hormones of labor. So stay at home, labor at home for as long as possible, and then go to the hospital or the birth center, or even don't call the midwife too early. As long as you're able to do things and handle things on your own, then stay there. And then transition once your labor pattern is well established and once you figured out how to handle it, because things will go a lot smoother once you do. Another tip that you can keep in mind is to stay upright and mobile as long as possible. Decline continuous fetal monitoring. Stay upright, move around, sit on a birth ball, just like I'm on right now, and get that movement in to help your baby come down through your pelvis and have a smoother birth.